All right, man, we back. Mercy Sports Talk in the building. Apparently, University of Michigan has fired Don Brown, and there was a report going out there that Jim Harbaugh must get rid of his coaching staff if he wants to come back for his last year of his contract next season. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And like I said, this about Harbaugh before I get on Don Brown. The reason he was successful in the NCAA is because of Andrew Luck, but the reason he was successful in the NFL was because of his coaching staff in San Francisco. I can't remember who the defensive coordinator was, but Greg Roman was really the mastermind really around making Kaepernick and Alex Smith first, then Kaepernick successful. He don't have Greg Roman. He don't have that coaching staff, that great coaching staff that he had in San Francisco. And he really starting to get exposed for the coach that he is, which is he's a lame duck coach. So now people can see that it really was the coaching staff in San Francisco, not so much the players, because Alex Smith was pretty much seen as a bust before Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh showed up. You know, Kaepernick, they picked him in the second round. You know, they did some great things with Kaepernick, and they got the most out of Kaepernick. And we still ain't seen Kaepernick play at that level yet. And that was just because of how good of a play caller Greg Roman is and how good of a coaching staff that he had in San Francisco. You know, Jim Harbaugh wasn't a great coach. He just assembled a great coaching staff, and you know, obviously they put together some really plays. You look at great plays. Look at Michigan. You know, he's had, you know, really solid quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, pocket quarterbacks. And the issue is the play calling ain't the same. You know, the real play caller that was from Alabama, he went down to coach at Maryland. You know, so they got the assistant Alabama coordinator, and that was Josh Gaddison. You know, I don't know if you could put blame on Josh Gaddis, because before Josh Gaddis got here, it was the same thing with Jim Harbaugh. Lack of development quarterbacks, play calling was questionable. So I don't know if you could put that on guys, but, you know, if Jim Harbaugh is to stay another season, it's looking like he going to have to, you know, basically get the boot. You know, and, you know, for him to get the boot, that's unfortunate, you know, for him and his family. But then again, if he getting the boot and he rather, you know, keep his assistants than firing him and keep a job, then it's just a situation where he better hurry up and put his name in the NFL so he can get another coaching job. And that's as simple as that. But, you know, at the end of the day, if Harbaugh was able to bring the same staff from the 49ers to the Michigan Wolverines, you know, I'm believing you get better recruits. And Ryan, they got the best recruiting class this year, I heard. So you get better recruits and you get better results. And I just think simply the recruits that they are getting is just based off the reputation of the University of Michigan and the level and the high regards that, you know, companies take the degrees. So I heard some rumors that Charbonnet wanted to transfer. Milton wanted to transfer as a couple other guys. And, you know, Michigan at one point was just a university that just reloaded with talent. Like Alabama now under Harbaugh, he worse than Brady Hoke. I mean, you guys ran Brady Hoke out of here because he didn't wear a headset. And to me, that was terrible. You know, looking back at it, was terrible. Brady Hoke took them to the Sugar Bowl, I believe it was. You know, Brady Hoke had a better record, you know, as far as, you know, games we want to win, but they ran him out. They never gave Rich Rodriguez a chance because he wasn't a Michigan man. It's at the point where Michigan got to put that Michigan man shit to sleep for football. You know, just like you got John Beilein, he wasn't a Michigan man, even though West Virginians had the same colors as Michigan. It worked. John Beilein been to 2 national championships and really got robbed out of the one versus Louisville. You know, he been in 2 national championships. You know, look, that's what happened when you got outside of a Michigan man. They didn't really give Rich Rodriguez a try. Rich Rodriguez didn't do good, but the guy they should have got was Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher only lost 1 game with Texas A&M. He started turning it around. That's the guy who they should have got. Jimbo Fisher should have been the guy. You know, looking back on it, no, it wasn't Les Miles. Jimbo Fisher was the guy for Michigan. You know, he was the guy who beat Alabama when they won the national championship. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're just looking at guys in general, you know, it's going to be hard to be pulling Indiana coach to leave Indiana and stay in the conference. Minnesota coach, going to be hard to stay in the conference. So really what you're looking at is maybe Louisiana head coach. You missed out on Matt Rule. They just fired the GM in Carolina, so maybe Matt Rule might be available to come back to college. I don't know if he want to take that step back, but Michigan is a hell of a job. Maybe even Mac Brown was even good because look what he done in North Carolina. He still can coach. So, you know, really looking at a lot of coaches. You know, you look at the NBA, NFL, maybe Matt Rule. Pete Carroll or something just drastically happened to Pete Carroll. And then you start to look, maybe Peyton Manning, you know, who knows. But really, Mac Brown was the guy. I mean, not Mac Brown. He was one of the guys, but Matt Rule was the guy, and Jimbo Fisher was the guy. So now you got to find that next guy up. You know what I'm saying? You got to find that guy at that program that's doing more with less, and really bring him to Michigan. But I mean, it's a coach out there that like, maybe Memphis coach, because he's doing a great job recruiting players and getting high draft picks as well too. You maybe look at Memphis or Louisiana coach, but yeah, man, and but looking at Don Brown, excuse me, it was inevitable. He been living by a thin thread. He should never came back, never been the University of Michigan's defensive coordinator past last year. I mean, he's a guy, it's the opposite of Matt Patricia for the Lions, ex-Lions coach. Matt Patricia love to sit back and play coverage and don't blitz. Don Brown love to blitz. And people say, well, Michigan corner's trash. Look at the defense. You bring in 5 or 6. You asking for your corners to sit on the island. If the offense could pick up, if the opposite offense could pick up the blitz, then your corner's gonna be in trouble. 1-on-1 on the outside. So his defensive scheme was just, honestly pure trash, in my opinion, man. And he just had to go. And then if he let go of Josh Gaddis and other assistants, do he really want to go through a year? And who want to come here? Honestly, if he fire off his assistants like they make them, and remember some of his assistants left for Ohio State, which is the biggest disrespect that you could do to the university, excuse me. If you get rid of all of his assistants, who gonna want to come here for 1 year that's really somebody? Who want to come here and coach for 1 year and not knowing if you're going to get the job, if you're going to be here next year, or you're going to get fired, or you're going to relocate your family again? He's not going to be able to get anybody that can help the circumstances at all. So I think his best option is to just tell his assistants keep leaving. They all leave on one accord. He go back to the NFL or sit out a year or call TV, whatever. It's over with for him. At the end of the day, now you look at, if you do walk away, you look at the past, 3 or 4 or 5 years he's been here, whatever, been here, you ain't got the job done. What's the chance you get the job done next year with some assistants? Unless you overpay some assistants, and Michigan can overpay some good assistants. But then again, you want the peace of mind. You don't want to get fired and then be paid 3 or 4, whatever you sign, 3 or 4 years. That's cool to get fired and get paid to sit on your ass at home. But obviously, people want to get out there and coach, and people want to have stability. You want to move your family from, let's say, North Carolina to Michigan. Y'all been moving your whole life. So, in my opinion, I just think Jim Harbaugh should just, call it the quits, moving on, and just, fire, tell his head coaches or assistant coaches that he's leaving. And it's just the best way to go. Obviously, it's just a situation where Harbaugh got more loyalty. Like he played Shea Patterson last year when he could have been really, even though that was like the national championship hunt, they really could have been prepping Dylan McCaffrey or Joe Milton or whatever to have more experience. And then this year they come and do their thing. But, it's just at the end, it's just, people at Michigan fed up. But Michigan fans and Michigan University, in their mind, they believe Michigan is Alabama. They Ohio State. They up there with Clemson. They up there with Notre Dame, who in the playoffs. And we just not one of those programs, man. It ain't been like that for a long, long time. And people got to understand Michigan, Texas. Who else you got there who think they I know Michigan and Texas really think they're a huge program. It's no longer like that no more. It's over with. We no longer those programs. We no longer, the upper echelon. It's a huge gap between Clemson, Alabama, even Notre Dame, who else in Ohio State. It's a huge gap between us and them. And if you want to close that gap, really, you got to go out there and get Nick Saban. You got to go out there. Should have got Kirby Smart, was another guy. Matt Rule. If Matt Rule, the new general manager, fired Matt Rule, that's the guy you got to go get. Jimbo Fisher. At the end of the day, Kevin Sutherland not going to get the job done. So honestly, that's the guys you got to go try to find the next Jimbo Fisher, the next Matt Rule. And 9 times out of 10, those guys reside at Iowa State, Louisiana. You got to figure that out. But, hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links, subscription. Fast way to reach me is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram. Want to make a financial donation, Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. Appreciate the love, support. Other than that, don't forget, Check out my Goodfellas Sports TV channel for more sports, music, news, and entertainment. And check out Goodfellas Sports TV 2.0. Appreciate the love, support. We gone.